Welcome back.
Yeah, so I know you missed us last week.
We're
I
here
missed y'all last week.
live. It was weird.
It was weird not having it. I know, it's all your fault. It was your fault.
Oh. You think I wanted to sit this close to you
Yes.
after you had been
Oh, that's right.
infected?
I had the flu. I had the flu, you guys. So, yeah. But I don't need more. I'm good. I'm healthy now. We're good. We're fine.
The incubation period has passed.
Way past.
Way
yeah.
past.
So, yeah, I'm good. So, yeah, you guys missed us, I'm sure.
So maybe we have some new people joining.
Hopefully.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So
should we tell us who we are? Okay. Besides that I was sick, because they were like, "That's great. Who are you?" Okay. I'll start.
Right. You need to develop your character before they can care about your illness.
Right. There's no empathy yet. Okay. My name is Beth Shepherd. I am the Arts and Humanities Librarian at the Marx Library.
And I'm Stephanie Eversard, and I'm the Social Sciences Librarian.
Yes. And we do this every week.
At 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock.
Well, except next week, because next week's Mardi Gras.
And except last week, because I was sick, and Stephanie had real librarian stuff to do.
Yeah.
Not that this is not real, but
and I couldn't get out of it like I usually can.
Yeah, normally we can, like, rearrange it. Because she was kind of stuck. So we missed you guys last week, and we promised that this week we would talk about
what you should have learned in English 102.
Yeah, so spoiler alert for those of you who haven't had English 102 yet. But before we actually get into stuff, there's some housekeeping stuff we should talk about, right? Okay, so first things first.
Housekeeping makes it sound terribly, terribly boring.
Unless you're really into housekeeping.
Are you really into housekeeping?
I mean, yeah.
No.
Yes, I love it. I love having a clean and tidy space.
Oh, I love having a clean and tidy space, but I hate the process of getting there.
Was it?
If I could.
Bewitched. Okay, so not housekeeping. What then? The more you know. PSA.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
More you know.
The more you know. So PSA. If you've been in the library today, you've noticed that something has changed, and it is the IMC downstairs on the first floor.
So the IMC is that great big space with all the windows where we used to have our media, which is why it's called the IMC.
Yeah, which is no longer. It is the IMC no more. It is it's the future home of the Learning Commons, which we have mentioned, I think, to you guys before. We mentioned it in the, like, watch Beth and Stephanie try to draw a library video.
Yeah, and a few other times.
We mentioned it to you guys then, but today, which is February 6th.
The 6th. It is indeed the 6th.
Think about it. There is no more furniture down there. It is now an empty room.
Yes.
Because it's closed in preparation for construction beginning.
So
right?
Yeah, that's right. So they're going to clear it out and begin renovations.
Yeah, so renovations start soonish and should take around 14-ish weeks to complete, right?
So we're looking at it opening in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, so, like, let's just say, like, grand opening for the fall, right? Because nothing ever happens on the actual timeline. I mean, we know this, right?
No, we're planning a pretty grand opening for
Are you
fall.
really?
Yeah, more details to come.
Forthcoming.
Yeah.
Okay. There's, like, a snowblower or something. Like,
snowblower, all right.
Jumpy house. Okay. So that's forthcoming. So if you guys are looking for study spaces, which have been kind of, maybe that was your favorite study spot, and now it can't be. Please remember that there are quiet study spaces on the 3rd and 4th floors. The north side, there are some study carrels, as Stephanie reminds me, between the ranges. When you come off the elevator, there are study areas there. And then the 3rd floor north, 4th floor north, and now the 4th floor south is completely quiet as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're looking to get rowdy when you're studying, you really only have options, which are the study rooms and then the 2nd floor area.
Right.
So
we're going to be a bit squished for a little while, but it's going to be totally worth the wait.
Yeah. So they've moved the chairs. I don't know where they moved the chairs to. I saw some guy moving the chairs. But my word of wisdom would be bring your own laptop, right? So that way you can just post up wherever and hopefully get a spot.
Sounds like a good plan.
That's my method.
Yeah, the chairs are going to be put around the library.
Okay, so they'll be redispersed.
So they will be redispersed, yeah. So you should be, I don't know where they're putting them exactly, but they're planning to find spaces for them.
So look. Okay, so that's for housekeeping point number 1.
Okay.
Housekeeping point number 2 is, so we won't be here next week because that's Mardi Gras.
Right.
We're not here for Mardi Gras. But the next week is going to be, I don't know, It's something special. It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
However, the amazing people at Starbucks downstairs have given us this adorable, I mean, is this not adorable? This is adorable. Little gift to give away to you guys. And it's not only adorable, it's pretty awesome.
It's really nice.
Like, I mean, the coffee drinker in me is really jealous that somebody's going to get this.
I'm going to go create a fake account so I can win it.
So what's in it? It's a full bag of Cafe Verona blend, which is awesome.
Roasty, sweet, and dark cocoa.
Delicious.
Or is that roasty sweet? Yeah, roasty sweet.
Oh, okay. And then there's 2 mugs, and then at the top here, there is some chocolate. And the whole premise is that it's coffee for 2, so it's like a little romantic Valentine-y thing.
It'll be a little bit too late for Valentine's Day.
You can get romantic over coffee anytime.
That's true. There are a few things more romantic than coffee.
I know, seriously. So we'll be giving this away not next week, which will be Mardi Gras, but the following week. So what we would like you guys to do is
ask a question. We are begging you to ask questions.
Ask a question.
So we're bribing you. It's come down to it.
Yeah.
So
it's a good bribe.
It's a very good bribe. So what you have to do is when we are doing Facebook Live 2 weeks from today, ask a question. And from everyone who asks a question, we will randomly select the winner. So you have to ask a question.
Yes, it has to be during our live time, right? Yeah, so between, like, starting at 2 o'clock while we're live. And the topic for next week, we probably should go ahead and tell them so they can be thinking about their questions.
It's going to be, well, we're going to start our lesser known series. So we're going to talk about things that you might not know about.
Like the lesser known series.
Lesser knowns. So we're going to be talking about ebooks.
Yeah, which, again, you know they exist, but do you know how to use them and how to find them? Because it can be tricky. So that's what we're going to be talking about 2 weeks.
Yeah, so think about your ebook
questions.
Begin
preparing your questions so that you can win the awesome prize. So thanks, Starbucks folks.
Yes, thank you. That was awesome.
All right, so let's just go ahead and jump in, right? We're like 10 minutes in and we have yet to talk about anything that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, we haven't got to.
Don't
say it. Don't say it. The substance. We have not gotten to the substance of the episode.
Okay. Says the vegetarian. Definitely doesn't like it when I say meat.
Ew.
I know. Okay, so today we're talking about, she's a vegetarian.
I'm not actually that sensitive. I mean, meat.
Meat. So today we're talking about stuff you should have learned in English 102, right?
Yes.
So where do we want to start?
Well, first, we're not going to teach you everything you should have learned in English 102, because that typically takes a semester. We're going... we're going to teach you what you should have learned during your library instruction session. So those of you who haven't had it, every English 102 class comes to the library and they learn a little bit about how to begin doing library research.
Yeah, beginning kind of research strategies. And we're not going to talk about everything we do in that class too, because that takes like a full hour, right? So we're just going to hit the highlights.
Yes. So where should we start?
I think we probably should start with topic development, right?
Right.
That's kind of we talked a little bit about this in another video. Topic development is like probably the most important thing you could possibly do.
So if you want the full discussion of how to develop a good topic, go back to the previous episode. I obviously don't know the number.
I don't think it was something, but I think it was something like your topic.
It was good topic.
Your topic
bad
might be terrible. Or something like
I think we called it good. I think we called it good topic, bad topic.
Your topic might be terrible.
Basically.
But so in the English 102 section, we talk about, which you mentioned a little bit in the video too, we talk a little bit about how to refine a topic. And I think a lot of students make the mistake, and I see this not just at the freshman level, but even, you know, my upper level students, they don't have a clearly defined topic, but immediately try to start searching the databases or searching the catalog, right?
And that's a really bad idea.
Yeah, it just leads to like super frustration, right? Because either you're getting way too many results because your topic is way too broad and they tend to be about everything possible related to a topic, right? Or you get nothing.
Right.
So ultimately frustration.
Or you're getting stuff, but it has nothing to do with your topic because you're searching something really general.
Like, I don't know, gun control.
Right. Are you interested in...
Huge topic.
Yeah. What aspect?
Yeah, what aspect of gun control, right? So what do we tell our 102s?
Well, we talked to them about answering the journalism questions, 5 journalism. Maybe you should take over for a minute.
I was doing that this morning. The 5 questions, the 5 pillar questions of journalism, right? Which are who? Let me see if I can fold them down. What? When? how, and then why. And how and why are kind of questions that sometimes you're not interested in both of them, right? Like you don't necessarily have to know why or how for every topic. So for example, let's take a topic for example, right? And we brought our little cheat sheet too, which we give every 102 section a little worksheet to work through.
So you can see how
you
the
can kind of see how it
going.
works, right? So for example, we did on this worksheet, we did a general topic like pollution.
That's where a lot of students start. They're interested,
which is fine, right?
You just got to work with it.
So what do we do to narrow it? We ask ourselves the questions like who or what, right? So let's say we're interested in groundwater pollution.
Okay, so that would be our
who and our what, right? Because it's not really a who.
There's no who.
But you could ask yourself like population. So
right.
like,
is it impacting a particular city, a particular group of people, or people with lower income are likely to be affected? You know, something like that. So you could ask who if you wanted to.
And then where, right? That's really important because a lot of times students will just say like, well, I mean,
the world.
Yeah. Well, and how pollution is affecting the U.S. is very different than like, let's say pollution in China, right? We have totally different checks and balances. So articles are not, or sources aren't necessarily going to be relevant for both of those questions, right? So having a area is kind of important in a lot of questions. So we're interested in the U.S. Let's just say that, okay, which is probably what most people are.
Right.
Most students are interested in.
Most students writing here, yeah.
The when is kind of, people are like, well, that's kind of a weird question. Why do we ask ourselves that? But it's really not. I mean, a lot of times you'll just answer, I'm interested in current information.
Right.
But that forces you guys to think about finding current information, right? Because if we think about what's included in our databases, there's older stuff in there too.
So if you're interested in pollution at the turn of the century, for instance, you're going to do a very different kind of search than if you're interested in current problems with pollution.
Right. And so that gets you kind of thinking about how to apply date limiters and stuff in the database, which is great. And then the how, in this case, I said that we were kind of interested in kind of agribusiness. So how fertilizers are affecting groundwater pollution, right?
So now you have narrowed it down to something very, very specific. And that's great because that's what you're going to use when you move into actually doing a search.
Yeah. And so at this point, you're able to kind of write your topic as a sentence or a question, right? Kind of what you want to know.
Yes. Yeah. Write it out as a complete sentence. And also that process of writing it out helps you kind of figure out what exactly you want to look at.
Yes. And it helps you with the next step, which is identifying keywords, right? Because without a question written out somewhere, we just kind of have a nebulous idea in our head. But if we have a question written out, we can start to isolate keywords. You have words on a page, right?
One thing I like to tell students at this point is you have a complete sentence, but you can't really do anything with that complete sentence in the same way that you would with Google.
Oh, good point. That's a really good point. Yeah.
You can go to Google and you could put that complete sentence in and you would get stuff. I mean, some of it's going to be junk, but you would get stuff.
Yeah, Google and its infinite wisdom will give you something, right?
But if you go to a database, if you go to one search and you put that in, you're not going to get anything.
Yes, because that's not how they work, right?
No, that's not how you talk to a database.
Right. So we have to get out of that kind of, what's it called, natural language. Yeah, we have to get out of that habit.
So you can't talk to a database like you talk to Google.
Or your friend.
Or your friend.
Or your phone. Or Alexa. Or any of those things.
Pretty much anything else.
Yeah, I mean, library resources are very specialized, and there's a reason for that, right? Why you can't do lateral language searching, and it makes sense, but that one hurdle that you can have to jump over, right? So now that you have a question written out, you have words on a page, you could then start isolating keywords. And what are keywords?
They are... I'm trying to remember exactly what you say.
They're the most important words from your topic written as a sentence. The actual definition.
Yeah, they're the words that represent the most important concepts in your topic.
So some things that are to leave out that are never going to be keywords are articles, so a, and the, and try to avoid prepositional phrases, right? So really we want you to stick with kind of nouns, things that actually have definition.
And also those kind of general words that could apply to any topic, like effects.
Or,
advantages.
Yes, good point. And also kind of a thing to avoid when generating a topic or a topic question or value statements like good, bad.
Yes.
Right? So we don't want you to go like, yes, it's good. Or, because how do you define good?
Right. And more important, the stuff you're searching for is not going to use those words. It's not going to say, this is good, this is bad.
Right. That's really not a great argument either, right? Yeah.
No.
So,
that's another issue.
That's a whole other issue there, right? That you probably probably talked about in 102 at some point. Okay, so you pull your keywords from your topic sentence, right?
So that's going to give you 3 or 4 words or phrases to work with.
Yeah. So in our case, like we've got words like agriculture, fertilizer, right? Pesticide, groundwater pollution. And we've got the US because we're interested in the US specifically, right? But what do we have? What's our next step? Now we've got this list of terms. Are we just ready to jump into the database and start throwing them in a box?
Not just yet. Because like many students discover those terms might not work.
Because you're just guessing, right?
Yeah, you're just guessing. You don't know what kind of language the database is using. You don't know the words that the articles are going to use. So what do? You
take those words and you start thinking about what we call related concepts, right? Or related terms. So things that tend to be, they can either be broader concepts, narrower concepts, or directly related synonyms, right?
Right.
So what I encourage students to do when I'm teaching 102 is to take one of your keywords, right? And then try to come up with at least a related term for every one of your keywords.
Right.
And that's harder for some of them. Like, of course, the United States is pretty,
right.
I mean, that's what it is, right? But when we think about something like agriculture, right? What are some other terms that are related to agriculture, right? There's like big farming and there's agribusiness, right? Things like that. So trying to think about agribusiness is a broader term for farming.
Or you could narrow to a particular kind of farming.
Yeah. So a certain particular crop, maybe even.
And using an encyclopedia or a thesaurus to help you generate.
Or straight Wikipedia, y'all. We're okay with that.
Straight Wikipedia, yep. I use it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you don't know a whole lot about a topic, it's a great place to go and get some of that vocabulary that you may not be super familiar with. Like if agriculture is not your home base, right? You might need to go familiar yourself kind of what people are talking about.
And then they'll give you some idea of the kind of words you should be using to search.
Yeah, and maybe the more technical term for groundwater pollution, right? I think we've got like aquifer pollution, things like that, right? Which you may not know unless you looked at the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that without looking at a Wikipedia article.
Again, why don't we pick a science topic?
I know.
We got to stop doing that. Okay, so what do we do then? So now we've got this awesome list of keywords and related terms.
Which is basically a word bank that you can draw on if your searches don't work out.
Students love word banks.
They will love word banks.
So generate your own word bank.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this I think kind of, let's just take this back for a minute. Because I feel like students often are like, okay, so I've been here literally 20 minutes and we have yet to talk about a library database. You're right.
But there's a reason for that.
There's a reason for that. So spend the time before you approach the database doing what Stephanie and I just talked about.
It will save you so much time. Like you think you're getting ahead. And I see students do it all the time too. They jump into the database and almost without fail, they're like, there's nothing on my topic.
Which, how many times have you said that? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you there is something.
On
your topic.
Yeah.
Or your topic just might be terrible. But if that's the case, come to the librarian. We'll help you fix it.
Yep.
Yeah. So take the time, right, to do those preliminary steps before you start
actually searching the database. Yeah. It will save you time and it will save you a lot of frustration.
Okay. So now we actually start searching the database in English 102.
Yes, the fun part.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I like this part too, right?
That's fun. That's fun.
I mean, it's all fun. So since we're not going to demo a database, because that would just be like, oh, right?
Right.
God. What do we want to say about OneSearch? Maybe like...
Use the advanced option.
Always.
Always. Don't use the big box on the homepage.
Never, ever use the baby search.
If you use the advanced search, it gives you 3 or 4 boxes.
3 boxes to start.
Yeah, 3 to start, and you can add more boxes as you need them, and that lets you to keep that. I am like
you are doing what I did this morning.
I am utterly
like,
inarticulate.
Putting all your words together, like it's okay. It's because we talk all day, all the time. Like at a certain point, it just starts to run together. But I think I know what you're trying to say.
I'm just gonna smile and nod at what you're saying.
I think what Stephanie's trying to say, and I hate when people say that to me. So what Stephanie is saying is that you, with the 3 different boxes, you can separate your concepts into separate boxes, which is a good kind of habit to get into, right? So for example, if I were doing this search, I would put agriculture, groundwater pollution, and the United States in separate boxes. And why we encourage you guys to do that is because when you go back to that word bank and start choosing some of those related terms to include in your search, it's much easier to add synonyms to the search when you can just plop it into the same box, right?
And that makes sure that you don't accidentally get rid of one of the important concepts.
Which I see all the time. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, so you redid your search, but you lost something crucial to the search, right? Because you accidentally deleted it, or you lost the United States, which then you're like, why am I getting articles about China? Because you lost.
But if you think of each box representing one of those concepts, and you're only going to put stuff in that box that's related to that concept, then you won't lose those. You won't lose those important ideas.
Yeah. Okay. So there's that. What else do you want to say about one search?
There are limiters that you can use.
Yes, there are.
Right? There's a nice little tick box that will make sure that what you're finding is a scholarly peer-reviewed source.
Yes.
If you need a reminder of what scholarly peer-reviewed
we talked about that too. We have talked about that. God, I feel like we were on top of it.
We are.
TCBing. So there's that. There's the scholarly peer-reviewed limiter. There's also the crucial date limiter.
Yes.
Please use the date limiter. We talked about this a second ago, but like common sense, use display a little. If your topic is very science related, right, then I mean, I think, okay, so librarians will say 5 years is a good currency indicator, but again, use kind of common sense. If it's changing really rapidly, then 5 years might be too old, right? But start at 5, and then maybe push that date closer depending upon the kind of results that you're seeing. But yeah, use the date limiter. Okay, we don't want old articles if we're trying to make an argument about a contemporary issue.
One note about the date limiter: it does not limit to the date of an event.
Oh my God! I'm so glad you said.
Yeah, I know you probably see this in history all the time.
All the time. Okay, sorry, history. I didn't mean to blow your spot.
No, I see it with my students too. It's all right.
The date limiter, Stephanie, say it again.
It does not limit to the date of the event. So if you are interested in something that happened in 1919, do not limit to 1919, because everything written about 1919 will have been written after 1919.
Unless they have a DeLorean. Yeah. So the date limit. I'm just dropping.
The date limiter is when the thing was published, not
and you
when
don't
the thing
know
happened.
that. So right. So we just need a general time period, right? And the date limiter there is to make sure to provide you, like, to make sure that the articles you're getting are current and relevant. Relevant based on currency. Okay. So use your common sense depending upon your topic, right? Because some topics dates don't matter. Right. I mean, Shakespeare's Shakespeare.
But most of the time they do.
Especially in 102.
Yeah, the kind of stuff you're writing about in 102, it's going to matter.
Yeah, because gun control in 1978 looks very different than gun control today.
Indeed.
And so did pollution.
Yeah.
So there's that. Okay, what else do you want to say? One search.
Do you want to talk about Boolean? I don't know if we were talking about Boolean. I don't know.
Maybe we should do a whole thing about
Boolean.
You know,
we do. So we just meant you hear us muttering the word Boolean. It is not a chant. We are not casting this Boolean.
Oh my God, that was weird and amazing. Okay, it's not a chant.
It is not a magic word.
Well, it kind of is a magic word, but it's...
Oh, that was such a librarian thing to say.
I know, I'm such a nerd. Okay, so Boolean, you might see in databases, which you will see, you will see the options to change your, what we call an operator, to and, or, and not are the big ones, right? And they do different things, and we were trying to figure out if we wanted to talk about that, or if we wanted to say that for its own show.
So right now, we're going to get results that include both.
I know, right? Okay, so maybe we'll briefly,
very, very quickly,
super quickly talk about it, and then we'll have a whole live about, and we'll get out charts and we'll draw Venn diagrams, and we'll be super nerdy, and those people who are really into it will get really into it, and those people who aren't will be like, bah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. And go.
And, okay, so you're actually using and by default when you are using one search, and make sure that everything that is anded is included in the search. So if you are searching for, what's our example?
Agriculture and fertilizer.
It's going to only bring up stuff that has both of those words in it.
Yes. So and is a limiter. It gives you fewer results.
Because it has to include everything that's anded, both.
which I think is counterintuitive to the word and.
It is, yeah.
Right, because when we think and, we think more like peanut butter and jelly, macaroni and cheese, which are amazing things, but they're more, right? So, but and in library land gives you fewer results.
So you're not just finding sandwiches with peanut butter. You're not just finding sandwiches with jelly. You're finding
peanut butter and jelly
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Whew, I love it.
Very nice. All right, or.
Okay, so or is an expanding operator. So what or, we try to use or for terms that are really closely related or synonymous. So, for example, if I want to find articles that are talking about agribusiness or farming, right, because they're kind of closely related, I would or those two terms together. And that's going to tell OneSearch or whatever database to give me articles that have either of those terms in them.
Right, so that's why you get more results. So if you're interested in sandwiches that have peanut butter or sandwiches that have jelly, that's a lot more sandwiches.
That's a lot of more sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you could say like peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Right.
Right? Because now suddenly you're Elvis and you need peanut butter banana sandwiches.
Yeah.
So
they are awesome.
Oh, bananas. So that expands your search, right?
Right.
Yeah, but we tend to use those. So it's important to note, asterisk. We use those for terms that are synonymous or closely related.
Yes, don't or ideas that are not related to each other, because that will actually it'll get rid of your
the integrity of your search is gone.
Yeah.
Right? And then not.
Right. Not is another limiter. Not gets rid of stuff that we don't want. A really great example of this. I was helping a class.
Good. Give me a good example, because I always fumble on this
one.
I
was helping a class do some research, and they were interested in Mobile history.
Okay.
And anytime they would put in Mobile, Alabama, they would get stuff about mobile phones.
Huh.
Cellular phones. So we used not to get rid of telephone and cellular.
Oh, that's a good example.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
And we were much more likely to get stuff that was actually about the place in Mobile, Alabama.
I like that. Okay. Yeah.
And you can use Boolean operators in Google too.
Oh yeah, you can. They stole it from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you keep getting stuff in a Google search, like the phone thing,
yeah,
you can use not to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think the one example I've always used, which is terrible, which is not fun, but it's like nuclear proliferation, and I always say like, if you're not interested in India, you cannot India, which is just so random. But there you go, right? So that's a much better. I'm gonna steal that one. That's a much better example. But I always say be careful with not. Okay, because I generally tend to think that if you develop a good search strategy from the front end, you don't need not as much, unless you have a weird example like something like mobile, which is spelled the same as mobile. Right, and that's kind of a weird, like, that's just the way. Thanks, France, for our word, right? Yeah, that messed you up. Okay, that's a really good. I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, they weren't interested in any article because they were interested in like 1800, so there was not going to be anything that included cellular. So I felt pretty safe putting.
Yeah, cellular, you can feel safe nodding that one. Okay, so that's Boolean. Like,
we'll do a long and
nerd-tastic discussion of Boolean.
We'll bring in some Venn diagrams.
It'll be awesome.
You're gonna love it.
Okay, so anything else they should have learned in 102?
If we just did that in 30 minutes, can we like totally revise our?
Oh my gosh, can we? There was no student involvement though.
No, that's true.
Okay. All right, guys. And the one last thing you should probably learn about 102 is that there is somebody in the library here to help you.
Yes, it's very important.
And it doesn't have to be Stephanie or myself. There are plenty of other amazing librarians and staff people in the library who can answer all of these questions for you about how to refine a topic or how to find sources on your topic, all sorts of stuff.
Identifying keywords, finding the right search terms, what to do if you get stuck.
Yeah. So
don't ever think that there's nothing on your topic.
Because there is.
There is.
Don't struggle in silence and alone, because there's always someone here to help you. And there's multiple ways to get in touch with somebody. So you can
walk up to the second floor,
stumble up there,
straight to the reference desk, and there will always be someone there to answer your questions.
If you're old school, you can give us a call. Our number is 460-7025.
Good. I thought you were going to hand that one to me for a minute.
No, I'm way better at that one.
Yeah, you are. You're great.
However,
we also have a very convenient little chat box.
Which is great.
It is really cool. It's embedded right there on OneSearch. So when you're doing OneSearch and you realize you don't know what you're doing, you can use the chat to talk to someone.
You realize you were completely lost.
And the cool thing about that is you can actually send the link of what you're trying to do.
Yes.
And then you can see what the problem is, which is really.
I love when I get a chat because I feel like it's way like unlike the telephone where you're like, okay, so what does your screen look like now, right? Like we can actually go like, here's what you should be seeing. Right.
And you can send us what you've done, what you're having trouble with.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 3 easy ways to get in touch with us, right? If you're stuck.
if you're stuck.
Lots of ways. Oh, and you can also email the reference department at webref. I can't. You did it. I can't talk
I'm sorry,
either.
it was contagious.
webref@southalabama.edu. But that's kind of like slow. That's like mailing a letter. So if you want instant gratification, which I do, I'm all about that. Then call us or come up here or chat us.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So shall we wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up.
Okay. All right. So don't forget to like us on Facebook. Like I always say, you're here right now. So
Right
just
up there.
click the little thumbs up, like the page. We're also on Instagram at marx.library, and we're on Twitter, thank you, at USA_library. And you can find all of our previous episodes on YouTube as Marx Library Live.
Yeah. Go check us out on YouTube. Because we mentioned a lot of stuff that we've talked about in past episodes. So if you need help with finding a topic, we did a whole episode on that. And we also did a whole episode on, what was the other thing we did a whole episode on? That we talked about?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but there's a whole episode on it.
It's back.
It's back there.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, we won't be here next week because that's Mardi Gras. So happy Mardi Gras, everybody! Yay! It'll be Fat Tuesday. Okay, so we won't be here for that. But then the following week, we will begin our lesser known series.
Talking about ebooks. And that's when we're going to have our amazing prize, which is off screen. There it is. Our amazing prize. No, it's backward, isn't it?
Yeah.
So all you have to do is ask a question and you'll be in the running.
Yeah. Okay, so if that's it, then I think we're out of here for the week.
All right. Happy Mardi Gras, everyone.
Bye. See you guys in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Wow.
Oh my God, this semester's flying by. That'll be 7